Well, good afternoon, everyone, and we have reached Act 4 of the Tempest. Okay, probably another week to go, and we would have completed our discussion on Shakespeare for the ISC, and with that, we would conclude our ISC literature syllabus. Wow, I'm loving the thought of it. Yes, I'm also expecting all to be glad about it. So today we move to Act Four, and Act Four has just one scene, and mm, but there are different sections to that scene. What is important in Act Four, of course, is uh, the first part where we have. Ferdinand Miranda and with Prospero. And the entire scene is based on the celebration of their love, which is finally accepted, right? And then, of course, we have a few loose ends that Prospero needs to tie up, the first of them being the subplot of Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo. So that is also tied up at the end. And what is at its maybe at his final stages is Ariel's freedom. He is omnipresent in this scene. He and his spirits come out and do as per Prospero's bidding. Every little task that Prospero, little or big task that Prospero has designed, is so brilliantly carried out, executed by Ariel, that what he requested the very beginning of the play, that I need my freedom. So betwixt 2 and 6, 4 hours are nearly lapsed, and I guess Ariel is also moving towards his freedom, right? So what I'm going to do is, there are certain parts of the text that I'll take up from the book, and some parts I will discuss on the board, right? So if you take out the text, I have the text in my hand, the first part of Act 4, Scene 1, you see that it is here that Prospero is finally accepting, and he says that your compensation, if I have too austerely punished you, your compensation make amends. I mean, I know I have been unduly harsh, and we know that. Remember what he said: anybody who gets anything very easily will undervalue it. So probably he put all those impediments in the path of Ferdinand to get Miranda. Of course, Miranda was his from the very first moment she caught sight of him. But Prospero did put all the impediments, and he says that, well, maybe I've been too harsh, but you will be duly compensated, because I'm going to give you one third. He says, one third of my own life. His own life, part of it was his wife, and the third part was his daughter, right? So he's going to give Ferdinand one third of his life, and because I need to know, so the person whom I've given one third of my life is worthy to have that one third as a part of his own, to call his own, right? Because she has been my own daughter, and she will now be your wife. So and also he says that all that I have done, all thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. So you have done brilliantly well. You have done remarkably well. You've passed with flying colors, and you do. I have tested your love, and I have no doubts that you deserve this gift, the gift of my daughter. Yes, and of course he does say that. Do not smile at me that I boast of her, for thou shalt find she'll outstrip all plays. You will know that she really is the honest, virtuous, kind, beautiful, well mannered, soft hearted, courteous girl that I'm telling you, she is. She is unparalleled, and maybe what I say about her outshines what she in reality is. And we have no doubt that Ferdinand does believe, because he says, I do believe it against an oracle. So, the oracles are the words of truth. They always spoke the truth. So even if the oracle said anything differently, I would not believe it, because I know for sure that she is. So you see, this entire love thing goes on. And so Prospero hands over, from lines 12 onwards. Prospero says that I hand over my daughter to you. Yes, but also warns him that uh, it's better that you solemnize your marriage before you enter into a more closer relationship with her. It is important, because more marriage is a social institution, so the marriage needs to be solemnized before, and only when both remain chaste, that the blessings of heaven are showered upon the young couple. Yes, and so there should not be any hate, there should not be any contempt. No sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract go, but barren hate, sorrow, disdain, and disculture. Best to the union of your bed with thee so lowly that you shall hate it both. So remember that wait for the marriage ceremony to be solemnized before you enter into a different level of relationship. Yes, and he says that otherwise, the hate, contempt, or disdain, or whatever, should not be a part of your relationship. Yes, your relationship should be one based on absolute purity. Yes, so purity will come only when you exercise restraint, um, and and wait for the marriage to be solemnized. And Ferdinand is very kind. If you look at lines 24 onwards, and he says that I will. He says that as I hope for quiet days, fair issue, and long life, with such love as it is now, the murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion of worse genius shall never melt. Yes, so he says that definitely we are looking forward to a life of peace and happiness, and uh, uh, naturally children who will be a part of our lives, and to protect this kind of love, I will do everything that I hold true. So there won't be any temptations in our relationship, there won't be any acts of dishonor in our relationships, and it is based on love and not lust. So that is his final um, promise. And then, for the first time, uh, Prospero probably uh, is uh, is going to display. He becomes more like a father who is showing off. Yes. So he tells Ariel that now is the time that you call your spirits, your last service do worthily perform, that you've done the act of the harpy, and I must use you in such another trick. So there's another uh, scene to follow here, another trick. Go bring the rabble over whom I give thee power. You have control over all the spirits. Um, Bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. Show them what magic I can perform. For the first time, he wants to show off his magic. Everything was his magic, right? But probably he still feels that Ferdinand and Miran are not aware of his immense powers. Yes, so he says, I want to show the vanity of my art. So the vanity makes him very real, very human, proud of what the knowledge I know. So I want to show them what I possess. Yes, so uh, present the scene. Yes, and then of course uh, when Ariel exits and Prospero turns to Ferdinand, these are about lines 52 onwards. uh, Look thou be true, do not give dalliance too much the rein, the strongest oaths are straw to the fire and the blood. Yes, so he says that you must exercise control. Yes, there must be honor in your relationship, and do not forget your promise. And of course, Ferdinand keeps assuring him that he will not forget his promise. And then everybody is silent, and we watch the mask. The mask scene is what comes in next. Now, there are lots of songs and dances, and all of this, remember, a part of the celebration of this marriage that is going to take place, right? So now let's turn to our board. Yes, can you see it? Right. So Act 4, Scene 1 is, I'm divided into two parts, which are brought together. These are very thematically important by Prospero's humanity, as marriage is central to this act, along with the successful completion of plans. So his humanity, he's after all a human being, right? And there's a goodness in his heart. So this goodness is brought together when he arranges for this mask to take place, yes, to bless this young couple, and also probably it's gradually moving towards all his plans being completed. Yes. And if you see, the next point that I made is Prospero acknowledges that he was testing Ferdinand and Miranda's love for each other, and now is the time to celebrate, which I've just shared with you, right? So that theme is predominant in the beginning of Act 4, Scene 1. It has only one scene. And the point about marriage that I made, you must remember that marriage is a social contract, not just between two people, but between families. And here it brings in harmony. So the mask, a celebration. Yes, and this harmony that is being brought in by music and dance is a part of this celebration of this marriage that is going to take place between Ferdinand and Miranda, right? And masks were very important aspects of the Elizabethan kind, and this a mask was held during that point in time to celebrate the, I think, the wedding of. Was it James's the first? I don't remember exactly whose, but Shakespeare did at that time sit through a mask, and so probably he wanted to incorporate the same concept here in this drama. I will take you back to the mask, which I read quite some time back. Okay, now important, like I said, the entire song sequence is there, but the spirits were brought in by Ariel. Made a list here. It's easy for you to remember. You have Iris, who is the goddess of the rainbow. You have Ceres, goddess of agriculture. Juno, Jupiter's wife, queen of the sky. Jupiter, who is the leading Roman god in the mythology. Now you see, rainbow, agriculture, what does it all indicate? Rainbow is at the end of rain, so it's bright, sunshine, it's spreading joy and happiness. Agriculture is plenty, harvest. So marriage leads to something which is a symbol of plenty, families coming together, people coming together. There's going to be a joyous growth in the family, right? Jupiter's wife has to be there because she's the queen of the sky, and that's why the rainbow is in the sky, right? And Jupiter, because he is the leading god. Venus, of course, will be there, the goddess of love and beauty. And if mother is there, the sun, that is Cupid. Yes, and you know Cupid is blindfolded, and he has this bow and arrow, and he shoots arrows uh, to spread his love to people. And then you have this, which is Pluto, the god of death. And there is this little anecdote here where Ceres's daughter Proserpine is, abducted by Cupid and is sort of pushed by Pluto into hell, and that is why Ceres is always very upset with Cupid and the task that he does. So there is this playful kind of mask that takes place, but at the end of it, everyone bless the new couple, Ferdinand and Miranda, right? You do also have Hymen, the god of marriages, and Mars, the god of war. Of course, war is very negligible here in this scene. What is more important is the god of marriage, who overshadows every other um, theme in this scene, right? And of course, I have done this section because honestly, I'm not going to go through the songs. I feel they really don't add to any value except the thematic, except for the thematic significance of celebration and spreading of joy, and also mm, the you can say the display of Prospero's magic by Ariel, right? There is a reference to Paphos as the place, the birthplace of Venus on the island of Cyprus. That I've written out this part because it might come as a part of your reference to the context. Otherwise, honestly, apart from an analysis of the scene, I don't look at anything more important in this. This is quite a dramatic mask. I call it a dramatic mask because it has come as a display of Prospero's magic. It has come as a celebration of marriage, and it has come at a point where we feel Prospero is gradually moving towards tying up all the loose ends, because he ultimately, through this marriage, is setting the wrong right. Yes, this is the best way for Milan and Naples to come together once again. Harmony is restored in the political world as well as in the social order, right? And that is why it's a dramatic mask, to honor the marriage and also portray Prospero's powers to summon such spirits for this celebration. So this entire scene here, you must go through it, the songs, and if you can see the movie version of it, that will be good. That will be good. But what is important, of course, is uh, all the gods and goddesses that gather together to bless them, and and of course, uh, this entire blessing is important because we will not, the only other place where we will come across what has happened is what they have just shared is when Alonso is finally apprised of this. Yes. So now if we move further, I'm just skipping through the pages. Now you see, in which is the line here, suddenly he says, at about line 129. Now you see what happens here is, I've finished with the table on the board here. So you go back to the text, which is about line after reapers enter and there's a dance and all that. Roughly you come to page, not page, I'm using a different text. It's about line 126 to 130. If you come there, suddenly you feel that Prospero is distracted, and he says, I forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates. So he realizes that that task is still to be culminated. He has to close that subplot. Yes, and their moment is here now. So I have to stop this mask, and suddenly, like it happens in the harpy also, the banquet disappears with a loud noise. Even here, there's a confused noise, and all the dancers disappear. And then Ferdinand realizes that something has upset him. Your father is in some passion that works him strongly. He suddenly realized that something has disturbed him, and so he suddenly stops the celebration. And Miranda says that, like even earlier she said that when Prosper was very harsh towards Ferdinand, I've never seen him so harsh. And again here she says, never till this day saw I him touched with anger, so distempered. I've never seen him so upset, so disturbed, preoccupied, that there's certain things that need to be done. Yes. And then what does he say? Our revels now are ended, so all fun and games is over for now. Many critics believe that probably this is, when I told you in the beginning that Tempest was indeed one of the last plays written by Shakespeare. So probably Shakespeare himself is saying, well, our revels now are ended. All that I had to write for you all the dramas that to write now come to an end. The revels now are ended, yes. Our spectacle, our show is over. Our show is over, right? These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. Like I told you that they were spirits, so they have moved into the thin air from where they came. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherits shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. And you see, everything will disappear. All that we have built around us. Now, always related to Shakespeare's probably his last drama. So, all that I've written, everything, all the plays that will be enacted will come to an end one day. Yes, the gorgeous palaces, the Tempest, no, not the Tempest, sorry, the temples, the solemn temples, you know, the huge architectural magnificence that we build, the world itself, the globe could be the Globe Theatre, yes, where no more dramas will be staged because I won't be writing anymore. Yes, so everything will dissolve, everybody living in it, the audience will go, the actors will go, all the different, the sets will disappear, everything will end, he says. And then the most important section probably, which has become a part of, you know, our Shakespearean quote always, we are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Very, very poignant lines. And he says, we are all made of dreams. We really don't know where we come from and where we go. You know, we just live from birth to sleep, and when we, after death, it is just sleep, and we just move into a different realm. We don't remember our existence ever. So we are such stuff that dreams are made of. Yes, because we really don't know where we have come from. We do not know our past. We do not know our future. We just live in our present. And everything will end in smoke, dream-like state. Everything will come to an end. Yes. So from dust we have come, unto dust we shall go. We have come from sleep before birth and sleep after death. So that is only the present is where we live in, where we show our magic, where we show our worth, and then we disappear. Sir, I'm vexed, bear with my weakness, my old brain is troubled, be not be disturbed with my infirmity. This is an old Shakespeare talking. You just feel, I'm old, now I'm tired. I'm no longer have the patience to write any more plays. Yes, and don't worry about why I'm talking like this. Do not be disturbed by my illness. You know, illness here means I'm sort of philosophizing about life. Yes, I'm asking you to think about deeper things, which you all are young, you'll wonder why all this. Yes, so then he tells them that please go and rest. Please go and rest. If you be, please retire into my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind. Yes, so, but I still need to sort of calm myself down. You all go and rest. Yes, and then of course he moves towards the work that he has to do with Caliban. And you know what Ariel has done? Ariel has got them drunk, and with all their and their, though their plan is to kill Prospero, that plan has not changed. And each time he beats the drum, they follow it, and he has quietly led them to where Prospero is. Yes, and then before that he has led them into a stagnant pool. So these lines from 165 onwards, he said, I've left them in a stagnant pool, and they've fallen into it. They're covered with muck, and there's a stench around them. Yes, and that is where I've left them until their chins, they are sunk deep in this filthy water. Yes, and Prospero, really, this is well done, he says, my bird. Yes, Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpet in my house, go bring it hither for stale to catch these thieves. So he says that, great, what you have done is absolutely fantastic, yes. But now get all those flashy clothes and all those accessories that are hanging in the cave, get it out and hang it on the line outside, because these will be easy temptations for Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo, who get charmed by very insignificant things. So get them out and put them up here, because I'm going to use them to catch these thieves. So they'll be a bait. They'll be a bait to bring the worst out of them. And then the next lines of line 179 to 184, very, very important. A devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick. That is a reference to Caliban. A devil, sorry, a bond. He was born evil. Nurture, that means person who looks after. So even if one gave him the best of surroundings, gave him the best of opportunities, gave him the best of education, wanted to teach him everything that was good and kind, it did not make any impact on him, because he was born evil, he was born wicked. So, like, this is between what you're born with and the environment around. So uh, which is more important? That's a common debate in psychology. Yes, your inheritance or your surroundings, what affects you most, what you're born with or the environment and the effect on you. He said, for Caliban's sake, he was born wicked. So even if he presented him the best of environment, the best of opportunity, he didn't heed to it. Yes, and all the attempts that Prospero made for the best of intentions were all wasted. It came to no good. As with his age, his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. Yes. So as he grew older, he became uglier. He became more deformed. He became more savage like. And his mind also did not accept any of the pleasant thoughts and values. It became murkier. It became rotten. It became ugly. Yes. I'll plague them all, even to Roding. Yes, I'll make them suffer. Yes, for all that they have done. And so they hang all those flashy clothes and everything, which, the minute Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo enter the scene, they go straight towards it. But here there's one thing that you will notice. The Stefano and Trinculo do go towards these clothes, these uh, um, dresses and garments, cloaks, probably a few scarves and other accessories hanging there. Caliban does not. And he keeps telling them that, tread softly, the blind mole may not hear a footfall. Yeah, so be so soft that even a mole, mole can sense, is very strong part of the sense of hearing. Yes, even a very soft sound it can catch. So but you be so soft that even a mole cannot catch that sound, because what Caliban, he knows that Prospero has that immense power to prepare himself to face whatever comes. So he said, you be careful. But you see, what has happened is, now, though Caliban keeps telling Stefano and Trinculo about the grand prize, about overthrowing Prospero, winning the hand of Miranda, taking control of the island, is to be kept in mind for Stefano and Trinculo. We have lost all our bottles to the pool, yes? Disgrace and honor. We have lost everything. And look what you have done. We have brought us to this stagnant pool. Yes. And then they keep talking about liquor and insignificant stuff. But what does Caliban say? Prithee, my king, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever, and I thy Caliban, for I thy footlicker. See, we have come to the cave. Now do what you intend to do. Go and kill Prospero, so that you become the king of the island, and I will always be your obedient slave, your footlicker. So you see, when Ariel asks for freedom, Caliban asks for a new master. That is the difference. So I will remain your slave and you will be the king. Do not digress from what we have come here to do. Yes, and then suddenly, and when Caliban calls Stefano the king, you know how Trinculo jokes, because he knows Stefano is, of course, a drunk butler. He can never be a king. And then they look at all the clothes hanging and they rush towards it, and how beautiful they look in the gowns. And then what does Caliban say? The dropsy drown this fool. What do you mean to dote thus on such luggage? Why are you being bothered by all these clothes which are such trash? They're insignificant. The more significance is to overpower Prospero. Do the murder first. If he awake from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange. He knows what's going to happen. Yes, but Stefano and Trinculo are least bothered about it. Naturally, I mean, for them, all these things they're only very lowly placed in the court. So for them, these shining garments and accessories mean a lot. He has a garment for you. He has a garment for you. And Caliban says, lines about 235, I will have none of it. We shall lose our time and all be turned to barnacles or to apes. Yes, I mean, we are wasting our time. I cannot bear this anymore. Prospero will come out and with his magic, he'll change us into barnacles or apes, like into these geese, or we'll turn into apes and monkeys, with strange creatures, and we'll have no power left. And but then you have Prospero and Ariel who set the dogs and hounds on them. Yes, so you have the names of Mountain Fury and Silver. They all come out. These goblins charge at them, pinch them, give them cramps. Let them be hunted soundly. About line 249 says Prospero. At this hour lie at my mercy all mine enemies. End of Act 4. At this hour lie at my mercy all my enemies. So everyone is now under my control. This was the last thing left. Yes. After the harpy, the king and his courtiers are already under his control. He just has to bring them in, because they're already fretting about their tasks that they've done in the past and how it has played on to the tragedy of the present. So Alonso, Stefano, Antonio already know about it. Caliban, Stefano, Trinculo story now comes to an end. Ferdinand and Miranda just have their celebration of their marriage, which is to be solemnized soon. So all his loose ends are being tied, and all my enemies lie at my mercy. Shortly shall all my labors end. Again, Shakespeare. My drama writing is going to end soon, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. So the freedom that I promised to you, Ariel, will be yours very soon. For a little follow and do me service. Little bit of task left. Let's do that, and then there will be freedom for you that you wanted. Right? Understood? Act 4. I wanted to complete the entire act in one sitting, hence a bit of board work, a bit of text, and I hope you've understood. I'll have one more class with all the reference to the context questions and an analysis of this scene. I'll give you a few important thematic points, and that will conclude Act 4. Right? So we are moving towards a nice weekend. The uh, you're still at home, all of you. We are under this what do I say? The surreal world that I always maintain continues. Yes, probably it is not this world of ours is not so magical as the world that Prospero has created. Nevertheless, the present world is not the kind of world that you and I were born into. COVID-19 has created a different kind of world. Not the kind of world that Prospero had, not the kind of world that Shakespeare created for his Elizabethan audience, not the kind of world that your parents, your grandparents, and you and I have seen, but still a quite uh, a world that one has to be aware of, one has to be careful about, because such a world can exist. Right. See you soon. We finish Act 4 for today. Bye.